We have been married for half a year, but we have something that we always argue about. It's that my husband likes really strong flavors. He's usually a pretty good person, but we got in a big fight before because he added extra salt to something already flavored with soy sauce. What are you doing? That has soy on it!
Huh? But it doesn't taste strong enough! Who cares? It's only for me.
That's not good for you! It's already seasoned with salted too!
Shut up! It should be up to me! Fine, whatever! I'll eat this like this, but I'm eating it with anchovies!
He hit the table hard and stood up to grab a tube of anchovy pasta. I didn't know what he was going to do with it, but he started mixing his rice with the anchovy pasta. I was so surprised that I knocked over his bowl of rice. You're going to die from high blood pressure! I knew that I did something I probably shouldn't have, but he took the bowl of rice to the kitchen. He got a new bowl of rice, sighed out loud, and started eating the fish. I think it was at the end of my patience. Then, one day...
Mom says she'll cook for us today. Let's go to her house.
Huh? He had told me that she was the reason he liked food with strong flavor. According to him, from other people, his mother's cooking was extra strong, but to him, it tasted like home. I was afraid, but I had gone to his home a few times after getting married. We had also eaten out a few times, but this would be the first time that my mother-in-law would cook for us. I figured I could eat a lot of rice with a strong flavor if it was too strong, but reality was worse than I expected. Hello, Miss Yomeko. Watch and learn. My son doesn't like to eat unless it's my flavor. You're from the south, which means you like less seasoning, but since you married my son, you need to learn more strong flavors.
Yeah! You need to learn Mom's seasoning!
He was half joking, but I looked at my mother-in-law's cooking that lay in front of me. It was all brown, almost like squid ink. I could see the salt crystals on the food. I'm sorry, I can't eat anymore. Thank you for the food. I could only resist about 3 bites. It was beyond salty. The second that I took a bite from the fish, I felt like I was drying up in some kind of desert. I couldn't stand it. What? Come on, don't be tearing up now. Kids nowadays. My mother-in-law was complaining, but my head was pounding from how much salt I had just taken in. I put down my chopsticks. My father-in-law didn't say anything and didn't really eat anything. This household, damn. On the way home...
You better remember how Mom cooks. How could you eat while crying? I'm eating your food even though I hate it.
I can't handle it. I couldn't keep up with the taste of a man who wanted to add soy and an entire bottle of salt in a box of curry. The next day, I started making different food for my husband.
What? What is this?
My husband was upset about the difference in our food. You like stronger flavor, right? I'll just make different flavors for each other.
What? You complained this much, and now you're complaining? The audacity!
I'm not sure what was so audacious about what I did. I was worried about my own health, so I started making my own food. Was that really wrong? I did what I could for him. I added as much salt without making him complain and causing him health problems. He still said that I didn't make it strong enough. Then what did you want me to do? The flavor you want is almost 3 times the saltiness of ocean water. I literally can't measure how much salt you want.
That's my mom's taste! The taste of home! What do you want me to do?
I was at the end of my patience. I thought that maybe my cooking was bad and I had cooked for my friends, but they had all loved it. I just couldn't take it anymore. I've never heard of a household that actually boils soy to make it more concentrated. I can't handle your cooking anymore.
What? I can't be married to a wife who won't even watch her husband's health! We're getting a divorce!
I felt nauseous after seeing my husband bragging after saying divorce. I figured I would make extremely salty things and slowly reduce the amount of sodium, but when he said that he was going to divorce me, I couldn't stand his ugly mug. I couldn't hold back the thought of being grossed out by my own husband when he grabbed a bottle of salt and started pouring it on his own food. I didn't know what the original meal was anymore. This salt man that only lived off of 3 times the saltiness of the ocean. The next day, I took off early in the day and went to an attorney's office. I loved him enough to marry him, so I wanted to what I cooked for him, so I knew that if I took my time, I wouldn't be sure anymore. I asked a lawyer and made a choice on the spot. I was probably fast to get out of the house, but the house and the land we lived on belonged to my father. I didn't need any compensation. I just wanted him out and divorced. I was rushing, but of course he wanted to delay everything.
If you give me what I deserve, I'll divorce you. You're the one that started it, so you should pay me. Also, give me half of your savings since we're married.
He was saying things that would make my head hurt, but I took photos and records of everything that I was feeding my husband. It led to a successful divorce with me clearly winning. We had successfully divorced, but I knew he wouldn't just leave the house, so I gave him enough money to move out to a new apartment and 2 months of rent. Of course, after he left, I asked my father to sell the house and land and change my contact information as well. From an outside perspective, it might seem like overkill, but I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. However, 2 years after the divorce, I got an email in my company mail. It was my ex-husband, and he didn't look anything like he did 2 years ago. It was an old man taking a selfie of himself. What did it say, you might ask?
My liver is having problems and I can't really live well. I can't even work. I got used to living on a special diet so I can handle your weak cooking. Don't worry. I leave the hospital on X day, so give me your phone number. I told you! I can handle your crappy food now. I can't leave the hospital alone, come on!
I ignored him, but he kept saying things that only made me think that he was high on salt, so I spoke to my lawyer that helped me with the divorce again. She moved quickly, but my ex-husband didn't listen and showed up at my workplace. I called the police and they took him away. He looked like a monster. He wasn't acting like a human anymore. I thought that I would never meet the person I fell in love with anymore. I was actually a little sad. My ex-husband ended up staying in the hospital. The next day, my ex-father-in-law called the attorney's office to apologize.
Please tell him to never contact his ex-wife again.
So maybe that was the end of it? I figured that I would keep having to change my address and vehicle, but if that was all it took to stay away from the salty man, I didn't care. Honestly, I hoped that his remaining life would go away before my savings did. But I can't tell anyone that. If I have a kid, I would never raise it to be like him. I want my child to have proper food and act like a regular human. I swore to myself in that moment.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!